Hello, and welcome to Support for Worried Homeschooling Parents, a place dedicated to supporting and reassuring you on your home education journey. If you've clicked on this video, you're probably feeling uncertain, nervous, maybe even anxious about taking a step into home education and pulling your child out of traditional school. First off, let me say, you're not alone. These feelings are natural, and every question swirling in your mind, all that uncertainty, just means your heart is in the right place. Am I enough for my child? Can I really teach them everything they need to know? Will my child miss out on opportunities? Remember, so many of us grew up in classrooms with ringing bells and teachers at the front. It's the model we experienced, what movies show, what most people expect. Choosing a different road takes courage, especially when it feels like everyone else is sticking with tradition. But these doubts, they come from love. You care deeply, and that's why you're asking these questions and why you're considering every angle. It's completely normal to feel isolated. Maybe your friends, colleagues, or family, sometimes even professionals at your child's school, aren't supportive. Maybe they voice concerns or drift away, not knowing how to relate to your choices. That hurts because it's not just about learning, it's about belonging and community. Traditional schooling is so baked into our society that unless someone's own child struggled, they might never have needed to question it. Their doubts reflect their experiences, not your abilities or the merit of your decision. It's okay to feel lonely. It's okay to grieve relationships that shift. You're not selfish. You're brave. You're daring to be the parent your child needs, not just the parent society expects. And it's good to acknowledge that sometimes walking your own path with your child can feel uncertain and even isolating. Remember, you're not selfish. You're courageous because you're daring to be the parent your child needs, not just the parent others expect you to be. Let's talk about people who faced isolation for making bold choices. Marie Curie, barred from formal study at home because she was a woman, Marie moved to France and studied creatively. Throughout her career, she endured financial hardship, illness, xenophobia, and constant sexism. Even after becoming the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes, she was publicly shamed and ridiculed, accused of scandal, and shunned by scientists who once respected her. She also faced relentless sexism throughout her career. Many fellow scientists denied her role, claiming her achievements belonged to her husband. Later, after her husband's accidental death and her own Nobel win, Curie faced scandal, a public attempt to shame her and exclude her from the Nobel ceremony as an adulteress, saying she shouldn't shake hands with the Swedish king. Devastating and isolated, she suffered depression and retreated from the public eye for a year. She must have felt deeply isolated and overwhelmed. Imagine having your professional contributions constantly dismissed, your personal life splashed across headlines as a source of shame, and being shunned by colleagues who once respected you. She experienced grief, loneliness, and perhaps a sense of betrayal, not just by the public, but even by those within her scientific community. Marie grappled with profound sadness, as she once wrote in her journals about feeling lost, without hope or faith. Depression and exhaustion took hold as anxiety about her reputation and her daughter's futures weighed on her. Yet, despite the pain and feeling like an outsider, she slowly rebuilt her resilience, ultimately returning to her scientific work and helping countless people with her research. She returned, leading radiological work on battlefields and founding the Radium Institute, pushing on in the face of enormous odds. Her experience shows that even the most extraordinary individuals can feel the sting of loneliness and despair, and that these feelings are not a sign of weakness, but of caring deeply about one's work, one's family, and one's place in the world. She wrote about feeling lost, without hope or faith, but she climbed back her love for her family, and her work eventually bringing her out of isolation, back to helping people through science. Can you imagine how her parents felt? Across the miles, knowing their child was hurting, likely wishing they could make it easier, but also bursting with pride at her perseverance. The Wright brothers, raised by supportive parents who nurtured their curiosity, Wilbur and Orville were ridiculed and doubted for their dream of flight. People called them fools. Even after their first flight, the ridicule and skepticism continued. Their parents surely felt a bittersweet mix worry about the world's harshness, but also quiet pride in their son's vision and determination. The fact that they supported their children against the grain made all the difference. Not every child fits the school mold. That's not a flaw, it's just how wonderful variety works. Steve Jobs dropped out of college after a semester he couldn't afford, taking only the classes he loved. Later, he was famously ousted from Apple. Jobs' journey was rocky, but ultimately he changed the world by forging his own path. Richard Branson, diagnosed with dyslexia and frequently misunderstood in school, teachers labelled him lazy and slow. He left formal education at 15. This must have filled his mother with worry, concerned for his confidence, but determined to nurture his independent streak. Her brave belief fueled his creativity, forming the foundation for the Virgin Empire. Now he advocates for parents and kids who are different. Agatha Christie, homeschooled by a mother who had her own doubts but knew her daughter needed something different, Agatha later struggled in traditional schools and abandoned her plans for a music career. Her mother would have wondered often if she'd done the right thing. Ultimately, Agatha became the world's best-selling novelist, a testament to the value of loving trust and non-traditional learning. These stories prove that real success often grows where children are accepted for who they are, not just for fitting the usual mold. Now think for a moment of the parents behind the stories we often draw inspiration from. Marie Curie's parents must have worried endlessly as their daughter faced hardship, exclusion, and public slander. In a foreign country, her mother, no doubt wishing she could shield her from pain, perhaps sometimes wondering if she'd chosen too difficult a road. The Wright brothers' father, Bishop Milton Wright, supported his sons when others laughed at their impossible dream. Can you imagine his secret concerns for their happiness and reputation, even as he encouraged them to keep going? These parents likely felt worry, loneliness, fear of the unknown just as you might today, but their belief and support helped their children weather storms and transform the world. Child-led learning doesn't require you to suddenly become a perfect teacher. It's about guiding your child's curiosity, offering support, and helping them figure out what excites them. Remember, you already do this every day. When your little one asks, why, 100 times before lunch, or wants to learn a new game, you're supporting their learning by following their lead, not because a textbook told you to, but because curiosity is the best teacher. You don't have to know everything. Your willingness to help your child wonder, discover, and explore is the most important gift you can give. Homeschooling changes family rhythms. Instead of rushed breakfasts and tired evenings, you get to share wonder, tackle projects side by side, and witness growth firsthand. There may be days you sneak to the bathroom for 2 minutes of peace. Don't worry, that's absolutely normal. Carry on. A big worry for many parents: will my child make friends and fit in? Schools create friendships from proximity and age, but these aren't always the deepest or healthiest bonds. Some kids find their tribe easily, others never do. Homeschooling opens up room for friendships based on shared passions, from clubs to community groups to online spaces. Your child can find real community in ways that work for them. Think about Jane Goodall. Her mother, anxious yet supportive, let her follow her passion for nature. Jane's closest, most meaningful relationships came from this, forming bonds with fellow scientists, researchers, even the chimpanzees she studied. Her connections were deep and authentic, not shaped by chance, but by shared purpose. Am I enough? What if I get it wrong? These questions are just their signs of care, not incompetence. Every parent slips. Every child is unique. Even traditional school makes mistakes. If you've ever put together IKEA furniture with your child, you already know learning together with patience, humor, and the occasional wrong screw is what matters most. If you're feeling scared or overwhelmed, please know you aren't alone. Teaching isn't just a job for professionals. Guiding children is part of being human. Think about how you taught your toddler to walk, talk, or use a spoon. No training manual, just patience, repetition, and love. Human societies have always learned through life itself. Hunter-gatherers teaching kids by doing. Grandparents passing stories and recipes. Parents showing kids to ride bikes and tie shoes when the moment arises. Even the parents in our earlier stories, Marie Curie's, the Wrights, Bransons, Goodalls, were not experts. They simply loved and supported their children's learning, sometimes through hardship and uncertainty. You just need curiosity and the willingness to explore together. Guiding your child's education feels bold and intimidating, but the courage and curiosity that brought you here already prove you're up to the task. You are capable, you are loving, you are showing up for your child. If this video helped, please like and subscribe to Support for Worried Homeschooling Parents. Share it with someone who might need these words. You never know whose day, or even whose future, you could brighten. Thank you for being here. See you next time. And remember, learning happens everywhere, every day.